Peter did not reply. He wasn't being rude, he just didn't appear to hear her. She glanced down at the folded newspaper next to her on the table and smoothed it flat. "Grand Duke Nikolai Nikolaevich leads from the front," proclaimed the headline. "2 Russian armies poised to take Eastern Prussia," read the subheading underneath. She continued further down the page. The Germans were amassing on their western front. The Russians were lunging over the border. They outnumbered the enemy 2-1. Victory was inevitable. "I see your brother is marching the troops out earlier than expected," remarked Militza, nodding at the newspaper. "I thought they didn't have enough guns, or, more's the point, enough boots. Isn't that what you said? Not enough equipment? Not enough training? But they seem to have launched an attack anyway. Extraordinary." She shook her head. "Peter?" "Sorry." He looked up from his newspapers, his face blanched, his eyes red and brimmed with tears. 50,000, he mumbled, shaking his head. 50,000. How is that possible? 50,000 what? Dead. Russian dead. 92,000 taken prisoner. Cavalry, Cossacks, horses, 5 infantry corps, 4 cavalry divisions, a whole army. Annihilated. In one battle? It appears so. His voice was barely audible. The Germans are calling it the Battle of Tannenberg, revenge for their loss 500 years ago. He shook his head again. And what revenge? "Mama! Mama! Mama!" Cries and footsteps clattered down the parquet corridor. "Have you heard? Have you heard?" Nadezhda burst through the double doors into the dining room, the sudden draught blowing the papers in front of her father off the table and up, swirling into the air. Dressed in a white chiffon day dress, her long dark hair hanging loose around her shoulders, her normally pale cheeks were pink from running. "Oleg is here, and he's told me everything. They shot the wounded in cold blood as they lay stuck in the mud. They put bullets through the heads of the horses. Thousands of screaming men and horses, driven into 2 huge swampy lakes to drown. It took them 8 hours to kill them all. They were twitching and moaning, stuck in the quagmire, unable to move." "Oleg," nodded Militza, smiling, fighting to maintain her composure as her heart beat wildly in her chest. "How very lovely to see you." "Grand Duchess Militza Nikolaevna," replied the young man, bowing in the doorway, his hand placed across his chest. "Grand Duke Peter Nikolaevich." He bowed again, turning towards the other end of the table. Dressed in his scarlet and blue guard's uniform and tight red-striped breeches and knee-length highly polished leather boots, Oleg's face still shone with the golden glow of youth. His blonde hair, shorn against his head, only emphasized his earnestness and made him appear younger than his 21 years. Nadezhda stood next to him, her sharp features quivering with indignation and outrage. "Tell them," she said, taking hold of his arm. "Tell them what you told me." "You can keep your stories, Oleg," said Peter, getting out of his chair. "I have urgent matters to attend to." "Papa!" Nadezhda fixed her father with a glare. Of their 3 children, Nadezhda was most like her mother. Not physically. The eldest, Marina, was more like Militza in appearance, but with the same black hair from the Black Mountains of Montenegro. Nadezhda was dark too, but she had the look of her father, tall and slim like a reed in the wind. She hailed more from the Russian north than the temperate climes of the Balkans. But Nadezhda had her mother's heart, her mother's soul, her mother's gifts, and the same black eyes. Peter sat slowly back down, his papers still scattered all over the floor. "Oleg had a telephone call this morning from his brother Kostya at the front. Did you know 5 Konstantinovich brothers have enlisted in the war?" "I did." Peter nodded, much to his mother's misery, added Militza.